The information was shared at the opening of a regional workshop on the information ecosystem and elections in Africa in Windhoek today. The platform supports election management bodies and election observers and monitors. Senior advisor on advocacy at the Open Society Foundations, based in Johannesburg, South Africa, Jeggan Grey-Johnson said the data indicates a loss of faith in democratic elections.
The operation was successful, but the patient is dead. And what do I mean by that? Precisely because there is seemingly a loss of faith in the democratic experiment. And that's not me saying it. I'd like to quote from Afrobarometer. Alarmingly, they found that 53% of respondents said that a coup would be legitimate if civilian leaders abuse their power, which they often do. So that tells us something. What it also tells us, I think, is the fact that the continent is perhaps facing one of the greatest challenges to peace, security, and stability that it has since independence. The fact that we have the largest coup belt in the world, stretching across the Sahel, from Sudan right away across the board to the shores of West Africa. The fact that also we have a war that is ongoing, unending, in very many different theaters on the continent, but most notably in Sudan itself, that threatens to unravel the entire region. And also the fact that even after elections are held in many countries, the conclusion is not necessarily straightforward, particularly what we've seen in South Africa with the government of national unity. But then also, equally alarming, is the fact that there is a younger generation that are consistently and systematically shunning away from participating in the electoral process. And this is worrying.
Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression and Access to Information in Africa of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, Commissioner Jerusha Topsy-Sono, raised concern over internet and network disruptions or shutdowns during electoral periods.
As you are all undoubtedly aware, establishing a safe and enabling environment is one of the most important aspects of ensuring inclusive and credible elections. However, as noted in the joint statement of United Nations experts on strengthening democracy and human rights in a year of worldwide elections issued on the 30th of April 2024, and I quote, "Elections in many states and jurisdictions have been marred by violence and arbitrary arrests, including of opposition candidates and political leaders, to prevent them from running for elections. Human rights defenders, including those calling for free and fair elections, journalists and media workers, and other civil society representatives have been targeted, attacked, threatened, and vilified. There is also an alarming rise in violence, threats, and intimidation by non-state actors, usually instigated by the political party in power, and condoned or ignored by state institutions and law enforcement authorities," I unquote.
Topsy-Sono further stressed that effective management of electoral systems require institutions that are inclusive, sustainable, and just and independent.